In the past 365 days, there were over 30 updates or patches to Hypixel Skyblock. But for this video, we have to go back before all of that even happened. March 7th, when I made a list of all the Skyblock features I thought would get implemented into the game. I added to this list throughout the year, and now that it's been some time, it's time to go back and see what I predicted right and what I got wrong. The first update that would test my prediction skills was the Nether update. The Nether update brought with it fishing content, Blaze Slayer, mini-bosses, and more. But what did I predict right? Sadly, not much. All I had to work with when guessing was some different leaks, since at the time the alpha server wasn't even open. But I did manage to compile a few things, notably about a new Slayer. See, at this point, nobody really even knew anything about the Crimson Isles, so me predicting a Slayer was already a step in the right direction. However, that's about where the right steps end, because I guess the new Slayer would be a Wither Skeleton Slayer. Yeah, that ended very, very well. I will give myself some credit here, because I also predicted that the best weapon for it would be a new Slayer weapon like the Adam Split Katana, where it's cracked only against Wither Skeletons. This was because at the time, a 1-for-all Emerald Blade was taking over every part of melee Skyblock, and I thought an overpowered sword just for a Slayer would be a good fit. By the way guys, these videos take a ton of time to make, so now is your chance to subscribe and get me to 30k before my goal of summer break. And don't tune me out like a regular sub plug, because I work so hard to give you guys consistent videos. Anyways, what do you know, when Blaze Slayer was released, you couldn't even damage the mobs without the Slayer specific weapons.
I do 5,000 damage. I do 5,000 damage. I need the weapons for this. I cannot do this.
In almost every big Skyblock update, there are bugs, features overlooked, and unbalanced items. And for Skyblock, the solution for this is rolling out a version 2 of the update after they've had enough time for feedback and testing on the main server. So, in preparation for Crimson Isles V2, I created a list specifically for things I thought would be in the next update. Here were some of those things. First, a new talisman with the ability to pacify blazes in the Smoldering Tomb for Blaze Slayer. What people had to do at the time was bring your Blaze Slayer boss up to the surface, and this would make the Slayer process much easier and less tedious. Second, the ability to drop an Inferno Apex and an Inferno Vertex from Blaze Slayer. Inferno Demon Lords had no big drops like a Judgment Core, Overflux, or Wardenheart. And at the time, Inferno Vertexes were extremely expensive, and there weren't even double-digit amounts of Inferno Apexes. Finally, 3 new Mythic Pet upgrades in your faction's shop. These would be for the Phoenix, Magma Cube, and Blaze. The Mythic Phoenix would give the Rekindle effect on the Crimson Isles even if the pet is not equipped. The Mythic Magma Cube would increase the effectiveness of all mana enchants by 10%, again even if the pet is not equipped but only on the Crimson Isle. Finally, the Mythic Blaze Pet would increase attribute levels by +1 even if the pet is not equipped but only on the Crimson Isle. Lastly, the other 2 things you could buy was a Power Stone with a mix of crit damage and true defense called a Perfect Opal, and a new set of equipment that would give negative damage stats and positive magic find stats. And now, all of these months later, what did I get right? Well, pretty much nothing. Yes, Apexes and Vertexes became more common, but nothing was truly right except for the idea of being able to pacify blazes. And there's actually a funny story behind that. I put all of these down in a Skyblock Nerds application one day, which is just a group of players who help the developers when they need it. Anyways, after I submitted my form, I was denied, but not even a month later, an item called the Reheated Gummy Bear was released that pacified blazes. At the time, I thought the admins had just stolen my idea, but looking back, a lot of people probably thought of this. The admins, if you did, you know, nice creative mind maybe? I didn't have many predictions for dungeons, but I did get some things scarily right. First of all, I said that Sorrows and dungeon fragments should be removed from the AH. In fact, me from a year ago said it so perfectly, I'm just gonna play it right here.
Another thing they could do is add more items to the bazaar. Sorrows should be on the bazaar as they are an item in pretty high demand and are tedious to put up. Maybe dungeon fragments can sell to the bazaar too?
So yes, that was me in March of 2022 successfully predicting some features that would make it into the game more than a year later in May of 2023. In addition to this, I also said that there would be a way to trade essence. I thought that there would be a new NPC to convert essence into an item. For example, I could turn 10,000 Wither Essence into a hunk of essence, and that item shows that it's storing 10,000. But in August, they just straight up put it onto the bazaar. So I got the concept right, but not really anything else. So there you have it, the best of my predictions last year. You guys, however, are the deciding factor to see if I do one again next year. Anyways, I'm gonna go, and you can watch me suffer as I lose 1 billion coins.